Welcome to my class. We are doing Unit 7, and in the last class we talked about what are markets, what is a market. So in this I'm going to talk about the market structure. So in the capitalist world, the market structure is determined by certain factors, and they are termed as perfect competition, imperfect competition, and perfect competition. We'll be discussing all about the various features of that. And in imperfect competition, there are three kinds broadly. One is what is known as monopoly, the other is monopolistic competition, and the other is oligopoly. Just have a look. So this is what market structure. After all, what is market structure? So market structure refers to number of firms operating in the industry and nature of competition between them and the nature of the product. So these are the factors that determine the market structure. So what are they? The number of firms operating in the industry, the nature of competition between them, and the nature of product. So in a capitalist economy, markets have been differentiated from each other on the following basis. So number of buyers and sellers, nature of commodity, entry and exit of firms. So let's take the number of buyers and sellers. So where there are large number of buyers and sellers of homogeneous commodity, it is a situation of perfect competition. When there is a large number of buyers and sellers but the commodity is not homogeneous, it is a situation of monopolistic. When there is one seller but a large number of buyers of a commodity, it is a situation of monopoly. And when there is a few big sellers and large number of buyers of a commodity, this is a situation of oligopoly. So the significance lies of the large number of buyers and sellers, or in the number of buyers and sellers, in the fact whether or not a buyer or a seller by his own independent action influences the price of the commodity in the market. And degree of influence on price depends upon the share of the buyer's demand in the total market demand, or the share of the seller's supply in the total market supply. So that's how the number of buyers will affect based on that is the market structure. We can define it into that category, whether it is perfect competition or imperfect competition. Now we come to nature of commodity. If they are identical and standardized products, it will fetch the same price. So we talked about homogeneous is identical and standardized. So nature of commodity. But if the commodity is different or differentiated, different sellers of the same commodity may charge different prices. So that comes under monopolistic, monopoly, oligopoly, and this comes under perfect competition under homogeneous. Entry and exit of firms. Whether the entry of new firms and exit of existing firms is free or not. If the new firms induced by large profit are free to enter the industry, abnormal profits will not remain. On the other hand, if inefficient firms incurring losses are free to leave the industry, losses will not continue. In short, free entry and exit of firms will bring free and unrestricted competition. So based on this also, we will find out whether it's perfect competition, monopoly, or monopolistic competition, or oligopoly. So these are the bases on which, so you can, if they ask you, there's a question as, they can put a question as, which I've marked here. What is the basis of market classification? So you can answer this as a number of buyers and seller, nature of the commodity. So you can say in a perfectly competitive market, the product must be homogeneous, while in monopolistic competition, it can be differentiated. And monopoly, it could be even unique, different, absolutely. Not the degree of price control. So perfect competition is said to exist when the producer has no control over price. In contrast, monopolist has full control over price. Monopolistic competition exists when there is partial control over price. An oligopoly firm often has partial control over price. However, full control becomes possible when trusts and cartels are formed. And another important thing is the knowledge of the market. In case of perfect competition, buyers and sellers have perfect knowledge of the market. In other forms of market, there is imperfect knowledge and mobility of factors. Perfect mobility is a unique feature of perfect competition, and it is not found in any other form of market situation. So in the you can see the main market forms as I've shown them. So it is based on the intensity of degree of competition prevailing in the market. In a capitalist economy, the following four forms of market are distinguished from each other, showing different degrees of competition. So they are perfect competition and imperfect competition. And in imperfect competition, we have what is known as monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. So this is this you can see in this chart below. So this is what it is, the market structure, and in the next class we'll start with perfect competition.